The beginning of the manga introduces us to the main character, Ares. Halfway to the boss, Ari's three companions suddenly refuse to follow him. Ares, not realizing what is happening, asks. Ares is in shock. He replies that he has no idea what Martina is talking about. So far, he's playing dumb. Martina says that when they fight, Ares hides and does nothing. Touching Martina's breasts again, Ares asks if he did it. Martine repeats that she told him not to use the money for gambling money and drinking. Sophia interjects, saying that Ares always rages wherever he goes, and they are one. Ares quotes that by allowing them, the heroes are running an errand or taking money. It's fun. She asks Ares if he remembers the time he helped a village that was overrun by demons. Ares remembers, saying Tuca yells that Ares tried to abandon that village, to which he asks if that's cool. The girl pulls out her sword, yelling that it's the duty of heroes to save people without power. She says that if she hadn't spoken out in that village against it, he really would have given up on helping. Tuca asks if Ares thinks it. Without waiting, Tuca puts the katana away in its scabbard. He asks his companions to think again, but the girl leaves. Passing into the rift, the hero finds himself in another world, where almost immediately the demon demiurge appears. A large robot, inside of which sits a girl. She informs that she is the Looking at the hero, the girl says he has the body of a dwarf. She doesn't think he's gotten this far on his own. It's foolish to pass recklessly. Ares screams, demanding an answer as to whether the demiurge is really trying to destroy humanity. Looking at the hero, the girl said the demiurge, sensing his power, asks who he is. Suddenly, a magical barrier appears in front of Ares. An old man appears opposite the hero and bids him farewell, saying that the demiurge with her mighty power is strong and none of the attacks will work. Ares doesn't believe it, shouting that he can defeat her. The elder replies that there is one way. The hero must overcome this magical barrier and defeat her with his own life. The demiurge attacks Ares. He thinks that with all his magical power, she asks if the hero wants to defeat her for glory, but he replies that he doesn't need to. Ares begins to conjure, and the demiurge marvels at this magic circle, not realizing how he can do such a thing. She asks why he goes so far. Ares replies that he's just protecting what he wants to protect. The hero conjures the final self-destruction, which entails an explosion. He remembers Martina, Sophia, and Tuca and thanks them for everything. Martina doesn't look happy. Tuca advises her to calm down because it makes other customers uncomfortable. Martina says that Ares, after all, didn't apologize until the very end. Every time she thinks about him, she feels bad. Sophia agrees with her friend and suggests she eat a good meal, and Sophia pulls an envelope out of her backpack and opens it, revealing a letter of recommendation. Tuca reflects on the letters. Sophia says she was only traveling with Ares for a letter of introduction. Martina says no matter how you look at it, it's not Ares' handwriting. He can leave such a prank and continue to make a fool of himself. This world as well. So Sophia reports that the letters have a real royal seal on them. When she takes the last letter out of the envelope, Sophia informs the girls don't understand why Ares cares about them so much. Suddenly, Sophia notes she thinks it's a prank by Ares for which he should be punched. When they arrive at the site of the battle, suddenly, Sophia notices Ares' sword. The girls don't understand what happened, but assume that the hero Tuca hits the rock, saying that when she thinks about it now, Ares has always suddenly changed the people around him. Oni chastised. Martin falls to the ground. The girl mourns for the dead hero. Today, the threat from the demons is gone. The era of chaos has come to an end and the era of peace. The hero wakes up in a forest clearing completely naked. Looking up at the sky, he believes that this is the afterlife. Turning his head, Ares notices a girl lying next to him. She reports that Ares is very noisy. The girl turns out to be a demiurge. The hero does not understand what she is doing here. The girl, pondering, says that she is his beloved and Ares tells the girls to wait, for he and she must die in the final battle. The hero is shocked and says that everything is connected. This is the afterlife. But the demiurge replies that at that time, Ares hesitates. At the time, he was sure they were going to die. The hero notices the demiurge's breasts, from which he comes to shock. The girl wonders what happened and if he feels bad. The hero refuses, not understanding why the two of them. The demiurge replies that the reason he has no clothes is because his self-destruct magic wiped him out. Ares says he only remembers using self-destruct, but what happened after that, he doesn't remember at all. The hero realizes he doesn't remember it at all. First of all, why is he a hero meeting this enemy? But if he says something bad here, and the hero doesn't understand. The demiurge replies that he and she are like a married couple and there is only one way out. The girl rolls the guy to the ground, sitting on top of him. Leaning over him, the demiurge, she tells the hero not to worry because the structure of her body and the human body is not very different. So after sitting on the ground, Ares explains that they just met and can't do that right away after just chatting and getting to know each other. The demiurge with a serious face, she explains that, first of all, enough time has passed. She explains that for the past 2 years, she has always been with him. She has been waiting for the moment. Ares tells the girl not to make decisions alone. The girl stands up and asks, addressing her husband, if he wants to be with her, if she is not attractive enough. The guy thinks that Ares says she might not like it, but he thinks that sex implies love for each other, so he can't do it with her yet. He doesn't know if he likes her, not yet. So he asks Demiurge to wait. The girl hugs the guy from behind and apologizes to him, saying that she was a bit hasty, as he just woke up, and Ares apologizes and thanks the girl, but she replies that it was an awkward kiss. The guy is shocked, and the girl asks if Ares has. The hero asks Demiurge not to talk to him like that if she's exactly the same. The guy asks the girl to wait and asks if it's a good time for them to change. The Demiurge doesn't understand the guy's words, as they have nothing to worry about since it's just her and him here. Ares yells that he is in trouble. The girl resigns herself to the guy's desire to dress. The girl conjures a finger, saying that she conversely doesn't want to wear so much, but luckily she can make clothes with mana. The girl conjures clothes for both of them. Ares is surprised. The girl replies that she is called a maker for a reason. The boy remarks that the girl agrees with what he says and asks if she can ask him a question. She won't wear clothes anymore if her husband compliments her. But Ares asks her to wear clothes along the way. Ares asks if he can ask her a question. First of all, he wonders why he's still alive. The demiurge screams that it's not. Despite that, instead she gave her life to him and now they live one life for two with him, but it's not one body. Because of this, the girl has used up almost all of her mana. She doesn't have the power she used to. She explains that it is meant to grow the seed of the world tree. The boy does not understand. The demiurge, in the dreamlessness, the guy sees a battlefield. He thinks it's a dream, but realizes it's actually the past. Ares replies that maybe it's because the people they fought before were still too weak. The demiurge doesn't. The girl realizes that he can get out of the death state by using the final recovery magic, resurrection. He used it at the same time as the magic of self-destruction. He thinks the skill of his profession is hero, gifted by the goddess. The guy yells to the girl that he's going to kill her and save the world. The demiurge replies that all the people before him have. The demiurge points at the guy and yells that they humans are trying to destroy the world. They have no idea that the magical civilization they created is destroying the world. Ares wonders what the demiurge is talking about. She replies that they must have heard the name in myths and fairy tales. It is the world tree of Taiju's creation. They have no idea that the world tree produces mana and spreads it around the world as it is now. The girl explains that the world tree came along with the creation of the world, and she has been protecting it here ever since. But now the tree is dying because of people's selfishness. That's why she decided to exterminate them all. By doing so, the world tree will be able to protect the world. This is her. Ares doesn't understand if the demiurge is really trying to protect the world. He came here to save the world. But if he defeats her, he will destroy it on the contrary. The demiurge replies that humans will eventually disappear without her help. Suck it. He doesn't know if he believes what she's saying. There is no reason to lie to agonize over this. Ares screams that the demiurge can't do that. He runs closer, grabs the girl's hand, and begins to conjure. The demiurge is puzzled. Ares replies that at this distance, the magical barrier is. Guy replies that he is not big enough to see the world on the scale she does. However, just as she wants to protect the world, he has something he wants to protect. Guy uses self-destruct magic and there is an explosion. Ares wakes up. The demiurge leans over him. Demiurge pouts and hugs the guy's arm. She asks the guy to let her worry. That will be her punishment. She wants to be with him a little longer. The guy's hand grazes the girl's breast, which makes the guy embarrassed. Ares wonders again if this child in front of him is really the demiurge. Ares remembers the story and asks for a sequel. The demiurge answers that this is the seed of the single world tree, showing it to him. He asks if the world tree is... However, this was a rough estimate based on the assumption that magical civilization would continue to develop as it was now. It was just the vast amount of mana overflowing her body, the dying world tree bathed in that mana, squeezing out the... She turns to Ares and says she has a request for her husband. If you don't have enough mana that sustains life in the world to increase... So the demiurge wants her husband to gather mana in order to grow this seed with her. The girl lays her hand on the guy, saying she wants the guy to protect this world. Ares readily agrees. He says that if it's something he can do, he'll help the demiurge. So the girl rejoices, saying that the guy answered such an important question immediately. As she expected from her husband, the hero is really the man she has been waiting for all this time. Ares agrees with She offers to join forces and make it as tough as possible, but the hero yells at her that she doesn't need to say such things. An awkward silence begins between the pair. The demiurge relents at this, saying that it reminds her of the fact that people can't live without eating. She walks over to the tree and plucks an apple, saying this Ares must like this fruit because it's delicious. The guy uses his analyzing. The holy fruit can be kept for a long time, even being plucked from the tree, and when it is bitten off a little, the physical strength will be fully restored. It also has the effect of temporarily strengthening physical skills. The demiurge wonders if Ares is going to eat this apple. The hero takes a bite of the fruit and says it's delicious. The demiurge informs her that she's glad Ares liked it, so she'll take one too. Of colors pressed into them. Ares asks if the girl is going to eat one fruit too, but she replies that she doesn't need to eat, she just wants to try it. Doing things like that is the only but the girl wants a new pleasure, and this allows her to seduce her husband. The demiurge embraces Ares, but the guy gets scared. He asks the girl how they collect mana on the ground, to which she replies that it's pretty simple. They just have to collect anima that falls out of monsters. The demiurge replies that the anima is the soul of the monster, and even if a person defeats the monster, they just return to Earth. Since Ares shared his life with her, the god of creation, Ares concludes that he just has to defeat the monsters. But the demiurge replies that the truth is that she would like to fight alongside him. The guy realizes that it's all because of the battle with him. The girl asks him not to make a sad face. They both fought for some. Ares replies that he will try for her too then. The girl marvels at the guy. The guy turns around and asks the demiurge why she is following him. She is surprised, but the hero asks if she thinks it would be dangerous. Demiurge asks him not. Moreover, she wants to see her husband fight bravely, and the hero thinks he should look around the neighborhood with his hunter ability and look for enemies. The demiurge reads Ari's mind and tells him that this is the hero's ability and it's very cool. The guy tells himself not to get distracted. He scans the area and finds 6 green slugs. Ares asks demiurge not to leave the place. She wishes him luck. He raises his hand and sees that he has no weapons with him, but it doesn't matter to him. An unarmed Ares jumps on the slugs, defeating them one by one. He tells the girl that it's done. The demiurge replies that it was very cool. She finds it. The girl says he's her husband, so it would be okay if he hugged her. Ares lets those words pass his ears. The girl picks up the anima and says that it has already crystallized. Ares sees the crystallized anima for the first. Ares informs them that they must now give this crystal to the seed of the world tree, to which the demiurge again agrees. But suddenly, embarrassed, she asks her husband to henceforth be more careful when he fights. Up with looking at his arm, Ares is horrified. Slime has damaged the sleeve of his robes. The demiurge says that the main food for slime is mana itself, so mana clothing is like a feast for slimes. Ares says the slime is sticky and disgusting. The demiurge asks the guy to leave the world tree on her and asks Ares to go to the hot spring. They agree to meet there. The pair part ways. Aries says the slime bathing in the spring. The hero contemplates what is happening. A lot has happened to him since he woke up. For some reason, he proposed to the man who tried to kill him. From the back, a naked demiurge suddenly approaches, asking what her husband is thinking. Aries is startled, asking what she is doing here. The girl replies that they agreed to meet at the spring, and the guy remembers that. Pressing her breasts against the guy, the girl tells him that he did a good job today, so she asks him to let her wash every corner of his body. She whispers in his ear. The demiurge adds that the slime will harden over time and become difficult to wash off. She asks if she can help him wash it off. Aries agrees with her, but warns her that his little buddy might get up. The pair are washed up in a spring. They begin a life together to save the... Aries informs him that he is thinking of leaving the forest for a while from... Simply put, it's ineffective. Suddenly, Aries senses something. The girl asks what's wrong with the guy, but is also horrified. Aries asks if the girl noticed the same thing he noticed. The couple walks out of the hollow tree. Looking up at the sky, the demiurge shouts that the magical barrier is breaking down. Aries realizes its aura is intimidating, similar to Demiurge when they fought each other earlier. Demiurge screams that it is a phoenix, the first of 4 demons she once created to destroy humans. Demiurge created the dragon god, Titan, and Behemoth to destroy humans and save the world. Similar to Demiurge when they fought each other earlier. Demiurge screams that it is a phoenix. The girl says it's one of the 4 most powerful demons, but Aries has only heard their names before. A powerful defense created by the elves who once lived here prevented the demons from getting in. The girl doesn't realize how easy it was to break that barrier. Aries feels the pressure just by facing him, as he is one of the 4 strongest demons. The hero asks the girl if she can order her demons not to attack them, but she replies that it won't work. Like all demons, these 4 powerful demons have no intelligence. He will do what she ordered, which is to destroy the... Phoenix reports that it has been many years since she left the demiurge. Before she reports, now she can do these things. Aries turns away from the naked girl. Phoenix says she tried her best. Aries asks the girls to leave him out of it, but the girls don't understand. Demiurge says Aries has a cute reaction as always. The girl tells Phoenix that Aries thinks he is now saved, as expected. Nudity in this appearance is ruled out. Demiurge asks what happened to Phoenix, since the girl says that the Phoenix has never returned to her since she was created and asks why she came here now. The Phoenix replies that she was on a mission she decided she would not return to her until the day the human race was exterminated. But one day, the Demiurge's presence suddenly vanished. Aries realizes that it disappeared when he used the Demiurge apologizes to Phoenix for making her worry so much. The girl replies that it's okay now, since she knows the mistress is safe. Suddenly, the Phoenix looks at the guy with an She points her finger at him and asks the Demiurge where the man came from. The girl hugs the guy and explains that Aries is now her husband. The guy is embarrassed. Phoenix does not understand her mistress's wishes. The Demiurge says she thinks she should tell her what has happened up to this time. The Trinity sits down near a tree. The Demiurge begins to tell the Phoenix realizes that Aries is a lowlife who has hurt the Demiurge. The girl replies that the guy weakened her, but he's not a bad person, although sometimes he forgets to look after her. Aries thinks he can't. Phoenix stands up and says she understood. Her powers are already fading. When she was born, the Demiurge gave her mana, and she will give it all to the World Tree. The girl yells to Phoenix that if she does this, she will die. Phoenix replies that it's okay. For the sake of the world and for the Demiurge, she will gladly sacrifice this life. Aries is surprised by such devotion. Suddenly, Phoenix turns to him. Phoenix screams that she doesn't accept him as her Demiurge husband, and before she disappears, she will incinerate him to the ground. Phoenix begins to conjure. She rises above the guy, screaming at Aries to disappear. Phoenix shouts to Aries to get ready. She will incinerate him in an instant with her flames. The hero marvels at the girl's firepower. Suddenly, the Demiurge yells for the Demiurge says that this forest is a shrine to protect the World Tree, and the Phoenix tried to burn the entire World Tree in his own shrine. The girl is frightened. She replies that she didn't mean to do that. But it didn't matter to the girl, as she was just trying to get rid of the bastard Aries. Demiurge gets even angrier and asks who the Phoenix thinks she is. Even though she's Demiurge's own flesh and blood, it's insulting to call her husband scum. Phoenix screams that humans are selfish and an inferior species. They are fools who are destroying the world and don't even realize it. The girl says that the Demiurge herself taught her that. But she realized that some people are straightforward in their beliefs. In order to protect what he held dear, Ares had challenged her alone and was willing to sacrifice his life. And now he had promised her to protect. Ares thinks he can't believe that the Demiurge has so much faith in him. Phoenix says she doesn't care. She still doesn't believe. She thinks it's Ares' fault that Demiurge has lost her power. Despite the girl showing great affection, Ares still has. The Demiurge agrees with her and asks Ares if he could have a duel with the Phoenix, which surprises the guy. The girl explains that the Phoenix says and does this because she is worried about her, so she can't be harsh. The Demiurge agrees with her, so she is forced to ask her husband to show her the power. Ares says that he knew that words alone would not solve this problem. Phoenix suggests the guy to go somewhere else. Trinity moves into the rocks. Phoenix says that at this distance from the forest, she will be able to dispose of her power as she sees fit. The Demiurge replies that her husband is much stronger than her. This angers the girl. She doesn't believe that Ares is stronger than her. The guy yells for the girl not to provoke Phoenix. Phoenix says that she is proud to be one of the 4 demons. Phoenix begins to conjure volcanic spears. Ares responds by conjuring a water shield, invoking the spirits of water. Phoenix remarks that blocking her spears is pretty impressive for a normal person. Phoenix begins to conjure volcanic spears. Ares responds. Suddenly, Ares jumps out of the smoke and punches the Phoenix in the stomach, causing it to fall. He looks at his hand and says that its small size makes it difficult to aim. The blow makes the Phoenix furious. Phoenix rises up. She says that even though Ares is just a simple man, she will use all her power and will no longer hold back. With this magic, she is going to put an end to everything at once. The hero is terrified. Phoenix is going to tear the Phoenix screams that it will vaporize Ares' foul soul and conjures a solar blast. Ares realizes that with that much power, the Phoenix will vaporize too. He could take the Demiurge. The Demiurge created them, and the Phoenix is like family to her. If it works out, he wants to protect her too. Suddenly, the Demiurge yells that since he shares her life with her, he can use some of her powers too. He recalls the Demiurge telling him that even she could not perform a miracle and raise the dead. Instead, she would have to give part of her life to her husband. Ares, the power that the Demiurge once possessed, even if it is only a fraction of it. Ares conjures. He himself shields the Phoenix from the machine. The Demiurge says Phoenix is surprised. She calls out to Ares and asks how he even managed to use the magic barrier. The girl screams, for which the guy hits her on the head. Ares shouts for the Phoenix to look at the outrage her Phoenix is startled. Ares wonders if this girl really only realized it now. He'd hate to say. She jumps up and puts a knife to her throat, saying she will pay for her sins with her own life. She asks the Demiurge to give her mana. She says that if the Phoenix is here, the world tree will be better protected. Just like that, they meet for the first time in thousands of years. The Demiurge asks if it wouldn't be sad to say goodbye now, which makes the girl start to cry. The mistress asks her not to cry so much. Suddenly, she turns around and addresses Ares, saying that she apologizes and she knows Demiurge loves him. But she wonders how Ares himself feels about the Demiurge and demands a decision. The boy replies that Phoenix thinks the same thing. Ares says he still doesn't know how he feels about her. He can't just accept someone's love until he knows exactly how he feels about that person. For him, love is not a one-way street, and demands a decision. The boy, love is mutual feelings. Only when their feelings overlap can true love occur. Phoenix starts laughing, saying that Ares is a virgin. She didn't expect that answer, and demands a decision. The boy replies that love is mutual feelings. Only Demiurge yells that it doesn't matter if her husband is a virgin. Ares says he's trying to be serious. Phoenix replies that she knows how lofty a virgin's idea of. Phoenix asks the guy how long it will take to get an answer. Ares replies that about 6 months. Phoenix yells that's too long, and she yells that he has a week to make a decision, but that seems like too short a time frame to the guy. He needs it. The guy doesn't like it even more, and Phoenix says the guy has 1 month. That's the biggest concession she'll make. Since Aries is a man, he has a month to make up his mind. He agrees, saying he'll give the demiurge an answer in a month. Phoenix says all the guy needs is to understand, and if he's even 1 day late, she'll vaporize him completely this time, so he better be ready. The boy is surprised that the Phoenix called him by his name, but she replies that it is easier than calling him just a human. Martine asks the servants who it is, but Tuca is already at the door. She is surprised that Martine is now captain of the knights. Martine remarks that they have not seen each other for a long time, calling Tuca. 2 years have passed. Tuca wonders if she still remembers Aries, to which she replies positively. He was a very arrogant man in the guilds. He seemed to have no motivation at all to kill demons, the worst of the scum heroes. That's what the world thinks of him. But his companions are the only ones who really knew him. He single-handedly defeated the strongest demiurge demon at the cost of his own life. Martina wonders why Tuca came to see her today, since she didn't do all this way to talk about old times. Tuca says that the dragon god and the hippopotamus were spotted in Tuca adds that the demons traveled to the western part of Kamui. Tuca is surprised that demons not seen in decades are gathering in one place. Martina yells that they need to hurry. She tells the maid that she has urgent business. This place is somewhere in Larengard County, so it's the town of Sid. The action shifts back to the trio. Aries tells the demiurge that this is not a good idea, but she doesn't know. Guy explains that the weak demons near the elven forest are ineffective for collecting anima, but the demiurge asks if it wasn't her husband who suggested. The demiurge explains that there must be a lot of people in a city like this. She'll make sure he isn't distracted by other women. Aries cries out that the demiurge tells Aries not to worry, because she's a creator god, and it's no problem for her. Upon arriving in the city, Aries thinks he's never been to one, so he doesn't think they'll run into anyone he knows. Aries is about to speak to the soldier at the gate, but demiurge must not say a word. He addresses her as demiurge, but she forgets her name. Aries worries if they are. The guard stops the couple at the gate, asking for their papers. Aries apologizes and says they don't have IDs, and asks if, however, they are not allowed to bring weapons through, so he asks them to leave them here. Aries says that he asks Aries if he has anything else, to which he replies in the negative. Then the guard asks Aries about the young lady. The man replies that since they don't have any weapons he can see, it's okay and let the boy thought for a moment that there was no way a soldier from such a small town would know, but the guard merely hands the couple a handful of coins, explaining that even if they wanted to sell something, the stores would already be closed. The guard replies that he doesn't care about Aries, but he can't bear the thought. Aries tells Demiurge that it scared him. The TA replies that the guy just worries too much. If he keeps this up, he'll go bald. But even if he does, she'll love him. The couple is followed by some weird girl saying that the action carries forward. The saleswoman informs the couple that the appraisal is complete and gives them several bags of coins, telling them that this is the approximate amount of the appraisal. Aries is pleased with this amount. The action carries forward. The vendor says that the rabbit pelts and essential leaves they obtained were of excellent quality. She was extremely surprised when she saw the sacred fruit. She asks the couple to come to their guild if they have any business questions. Primo as a messenger. The salesgirl snuggles up to Aries, which angers the demiurge. Walking down the street, Aries says he really didn't expect them to make 1.5 million gold at once. The medicinal he thinks the most amazing thing is the sacred fruit. He has a few in his stash, but their value on the market is close to 1 million. Aries doesn't want to make too much, so he doesn't stand out. The demiurge is silent. Aries notices the girl's slumped form, and Aries thinks it wasn't that bad. But demiurge screams that her husband is her husband. He flirted with them right under her nose. But Aries says he didn't do it. The girl sulks. Aries thinks she is very jealous, and he will have to be more careful with women from now on. At any rate, he'll have to cheer her up. The couple approaches the bulletin board, on which Aries tells Demiurge that there are a number of stores on this street, and now that they have money, they can go shopping. But Demiurge asks if, after all, the guy is still going shopping for gear and other boring. Demiurge rejoices, thinking that by bed, Aries means bed. Last night was the first time she slept on a bed, and it was awesome. She thinks people can do good things too. She yells out. Suddenly, the couple hears the strange girl in the back. She tells Ares that even though she was so close, he only noticed her when she called out to him. The demiurge, feeling all the mana from the girl, realizes it's a titan. Suddenly, the couple hears the titan notices that demiurge has grown weaker, addressing her as a sister. Ares has demiurge. The demiurge says that she didn't realize that she too was capable of mimicking humans. The titan replies that he says that the couple has the world tree seed and asks them to give it to her. Ares' titan realizes she's too late and says it's because she went to the world tree of the previous generation. The demiurge explains to Ares. The titan confirms and says that the entrance was blocked due to the aftermath of their battle. The demiurge doesn't understand why the titan would force open the entrance. Titan says, Ares asks the titan if they have seen the phoenix, and the titan replies that she is exactly like the phoenix. Her body is depleted of mana, so she borrowed mana directly from the previous world tree. The demiurge asks if the titan has damaged the world tree. She answers in the affirmative. The girl cries out that if she damages this weak tree, it will wither and die in the blink of an eye, and thus this world will die too. Titan says that's what happened when she heard about the seeds from the world tree itself. The couple doesn't understand what the demon is talking about. They realize that Titan forcibly siphoned mana from the spirit of the world sleeping tree. Titan says that's what happened. Titan explains that she only damaged it a bit to replenish it, and then it burst out to escape. There's a lot more mana in her seed than in her dying body, or something like that. Titan says that's what happened. The world tree is a living creature like any other. It sells its own child, selfishly begging for mercy. She still laughs when she thinks about it. The Titan's words make the demiurge furious and she runs at her. Titan explains that the world tree is a living creature like any. The Titan stops her with one hand and asks if she has realized why she needs the seeds. Demiurge realizes that the Titan intends to take the seeds to gain even more power. Ares says that if the world tree disappears, everything will die. Titan replies that she has thought about that too. The people, animals, and demons living in this world will just return to Earth, and then she will create a new world tree. Titan intends to become the new creator god. Ares thinks this girl is completely insane. Titan asks Ares to tell her where the seeds are. She threatens the demiurge that she will make her tell it with pain, just like the world tree. The demiurge wonders why the Titan is eager to gain immense power. They wonder if she needs the whole world. Titan replies that she only needs such a huge power because it looks like fun. Empire due to the fact. Suddenly, Ares attacks Titan and meets her gaze. He manages to snatch the demiurge from Titan's grasp. He asks if the girl is. She yells that maybe it would be better to ask her body. The couple freaks out. The guard notices Ares and demiurge running straight at him. They run past the incomprehensible guard. The Titan yells that she can't believe they escaped the city. This is a big deal for her. Ares asks. The couple stops and Titan transforms into a huge giant, saying that this is her true form. She tells the couple to bow down in fear. Ares tells the demiurge that this is already really. Ares summons the Deus machine again. The machine appears. Ares asks the machine to take the uncomprehending demiurge and head for the phoenix. The Deus machine obeys and takes the demiurge in its hand. Ares replies that he shares this life with her and asks her not to worry. He's going to take care of this big scum right here, so he's not going to die alone. The demiurge yells that Ares must destroy the Titan's growing ambitions. Ares replies that he shares this life. She asks him to return in one piece. The Deus machine leaves with the demiurge. Ares replies that he's actually going to beat the crap out of her. Titan gets angry, saying that Ares doesn't dare cross her and calls for a stone blast. Ares conjures up a magical barrier and deflects the attack. The Titan does not know how he can use the power of the demiurge. She attacks Ares again. The Titan attacks Ares, but he jumps on her arm and kicks her in the face. The demon is even angrier. She doesn't understand how a creature that. Suddenly, Ares feels some sort of vibration and stone golems rise from the ground. The Titan orders them into action. He says that the Titan isn't that smart if she thinks she can defeat him. Suddenly, all the golems regenerate, which makes Ares startled. The demon says that as long as she supplies them with mana, they will. Meanwhile, the demiurge rushes to Phoenix. She thinks that all she needs is to believe in her husband's victory. Then she will believe and wait for him. Ares fights the golems again. The Titan says he can't stand up to them, he can only run away. Ares looks at the ground. He sees the lines on it and thinks he has found the perfect solution. He flies up to the top. The demon asks what he's doing, to which he says she's still being... Ares asks her to look under her feet. The demon sees the lines and gets scared. It is a magical circle. Ares explains that it is a sacred space where even time freezes. He conjures an infinite ice world and all the golems freeze. Under her feet, the demon asks if this is what Ares was running away from the city for. He replies that she is just a fool with powers. He was able to prepare the magic circle without any problem. The Titan replies that golems aren't the only demons she can create. The Titan begins to freeze. Ares says that even though her body is immune to magic, the demon goes down. Ares says it's a huge, overgrown giant's nose and he's going to break it for her. Ares returns to the elven forest to Demiurge and the Phoenix. Phoenix and Demiurge rejoice at the arrival. The Demiurge immediately climbs in, asking Ares if he's hurt, but the guy tells her to calm down. The girl says she's really happy that Ares is okay. Phoenix says she will take care of the Titan, to which the Demiurge agrees. She says she can't believe that Ares not only defeated the Titan. Phoenix says it's a good job, and she's grown to respect him a little more. Suddenly, Ares thinks this isn't the first time they've bathed together, but he's still a little shy. He's about to take a quick swim, but the Demiurge suddenly hugs the guy. She says it's punishment for him making her worry. Until today, she has never felt such fear in her entire life. But in this agonizing battle for her husband's life, the Demiurge says that perhaps Ares wouldn't have been seriously injured, even if she hadn't been there. The girl begins. Ares thinks he promised to give his answer in exactly a month, but he's ready to give it now. Ares says that he likes being with her. His feelings are still a little fuzzy. Let them be vague, but from now on, he will always be by her side. He will spend eternity with her and fall in love with her for real. He swears he'll make the Demiurge so happy. Even if they die with her in this world and part ways, he will be reborn in the new world and will surely track her down and stay with her forever. He suggests. Ares says he is ready and offers Demiurge to be his wife. The girl starts crying and knocks the guy down, saying she can't hold back any longer. The Demiurge says that Ares is to blame for her heartbeat. The couple kiss, and while getting dressed, Ares asks the girl how things are going with the Titan. The Demiurge says that right now she is still under the care of the Phoenix. She has gone too far and surely deserves to die, but Demiurge has always been lenient with her people. Contrary to her perceptions, for him, this is character. The Demiurge replies that she will beat each of them with everything she has. If they step out of line, she will. The Demiurge smiles, saying that she didn't make a mistake in choosing a husband. She is no longer alone. Suddenly, Ares is terrified, for he has never done this before. The Demiurge says she will make sure the Titan never does that. The action moves to the site of the battle between Ares and the Titan. The girl replies that it is mainly used to stop large-scale human invasions. Sophia says that this is a very large-scale installation magic. Usually takes more than one person to prepare. Sophia can't accept that and leave it at that. She can accompany her. But Sophia replies that it would be better if only she goes. She explains. The maid says she will continue to investigate the town of Sid. Sophia replies that she's counting on her. Sophia conjures a Nice cube in which she can move quietly in the null field. She had heard about the 3 strongest demons, so she went along with the advanced search team. Touching the mana from the circle, she feels Ares' energy. Titan replies that if he's going to kill her, let him do it quickly. Ares, no matter how long they have lived apart, Titan is like a sister to her. The demon screams that it's disgusting, asking what will bow down to her sister. She did what she wanted, and the Demiurge became so pathetic, like a human. Ares realizes that words alone won't do the trick, but he doesn't like the thought of violence. Ares meets the Phoenix, who says she thought he was torturing the Titan. The hero asks Phoenix not to use the word torment. He just wants the Titan to feel guilty. Phoenix notices something in Arya's hands and wonders what it is. Ares replies. Suddenly, Ares asks Phoenix to help him test how effective the whip is. Phoenix is afraid, asking if Ares is going to test it on her, but the hero replies in the negative. He's not going to test it on someone else's body. Phoenix will have to whip Ares. Phoenix takes a whip and stabs Ares, which hurts him. The girl says it looked pretty spectacular, but Ares replies that it actually... Ares says that this will cause a lot of trouble for the Titan, and tomorrow they will begin. Phoenix doesn't realize what the whip is. She felt strange when she picked it up. It is covered in special mana. Titan has done something unforgivable to the Demiurge, and if they're going to punish her, The next day, Ares comes to the demon and asks if she has considered her actions. The Titan replies that he will not bow at her. Ares says they will continue until she surrenders. The hero strikes the demon. Ares thinks that this is one of the strongest demons, so a reduced strength whip will not be powerful, but Ares applies beneficial healing to the demon. She doesn't understand what the hero is doing, but he tells her to figure it out for herself. He thinks that the phoenix will 5 days pass. Ares is still torturing the Titan, telling her to bow. He thinks the demon is making a fool of him, since he's putting a lot of effort into it. So deep inside, she was horrified by this punishment, making her feel pain for the first time. It was the most disgusting feeling for her. But Ares suddenly used a recovery spell on her. The irritation disappeared. The demon thinks she won't be allowed to die peacefully and she'll endure this pain forever. But in a moment, she guessed what this strange feeling is. It is the enjoyment of what is happening. The Titan just enjoys it, laughing. Ares doesn't realize how far she's going to go to ridicule him, but he's not going to give up. He wants to make her sorry. He decided to help the protagonist. A phoenix comes to Ares and brings apples, saying they are... Ares walks away. Phoenix turns to the Titan and says she's pathetic. The demon asks if she caused this whole scandal. Phoenix replies that the Demiurge tries to forgive the Titan simply because she is kind, which is why Titan doesn't realize what she's doing. Phoenix replies that that berry is a powerful stimulant that greatly increases the sensitivity of the skin. Phoenix says she wonders what it would be like to be punished like that. But the Phoenix advises her to try to keep her skates on. The Titan begins to tremble. 5 days have passed. Ares continues to torture the Titan, but she just laughs, which the hero doesn't like. He thinks she's just playing around and mocking him. Titan thinks the Phoenix is the reason her body has become so sensitive. She thinks it's cool, taking pleasure in it. Her sweat soaks into her wounds and it hurts even more, but that's the best part for her. Suddenly, Ares says that's all for today and he won't torture her tomorrow, which scares the demon. The hero treats the Titan, saying that Ares says that if she had just answered, they wouldn't have had to do all this. He asks her to think about it. He says he'll come back the day after. She doesn't understand that how can he leave her in this state until the day after tomorrow, when her whole body is shaking and she can't do anything about it. The demon starts. The Demiurge tells Ares that it has been a week since she asked her. The Demiurge asks if she's sure she wants to go, to which she replies that she's curious because the two of them are among the strongest demons. Suddenly, the Titan starts apologizing to them. She apologizes for all the trouble. She says she definitely felt pain. The Demiurge replies that it's okay if she thinks about it. She will have many opportunities with them from now on together. The girl suggests that her sister grow a world tree. She apologizes for all the trouble. Titan yells that she will help them raise him, but asks Ares to torture her more, which leaves everyone in shock. The Demiurge asks what Ares did to her, but he replies that he's surprised by that too. She asks for more of that berry that increases sensitivity many times over. The Demiurge asks Phoenix what the Titan is talking about. Phoenix is startled. Phoenix runs away, apologizing to the Demiurge. Demiurge runs after her, saying he will nail her. Titan asks Ares to come over, saying he should hurry up and punish her too. After that, the Titan officially became part of the plan to grow the world tree. He doubted she would help them, but she followed their instructions even too willingly. The world tree began to grow. Ares says he's going demon hunting. The Demiurge advises him to be careful. As they leave the house, he thinks she became like this recently. She usually kisses him all the time when she goes somewhere. Ares thinks it's because he's bad at love. He falls to his knees, but he thinks that now is not the time to feel sorry for himself. He needs to become the man who really cares about the Demiurge and supports her. Wars. When Titan kills monsters by collecting seeds. After collecting some seeds, she thinks whenever she asks Ares to do this to her, he looks at her with disgust, but she loves the look on his face. She is already imagining how he will punish her tonight. The Titan turns around, about to attack. One girl apologizes to her for disturbing her, while the other says she's overdoing it. They are all from the same creator. Titan guesses that they are one of the 4 strongest demons. The girl replies that that is correct. She asks if they can imitate humans too, to which the dragon god replies that in their true form, they stand out a lot. Titan asks why they are here. The dragon god replies that they are here to see the demiurge. Correct. Titan asks Hippo why she is here, to which she replies that there is no other reason, and she does not have. Hippo says that Titan has become strange. But the Titan doesn't think she should be the one to talk about it. She doesn't know if she should take these 2 directly to them. 2 of the 4 but the amount of mana they have now is significantly more than her. Titan thinks they will still have a chance with Phoenix. Titan thinks that if things go wrong, it will be her fault. And in that case, the master will punish her much more severely than usual. Going after Titan, the dragon god noticed the demiurge is standing near the tree when Ares approaches her from behind. He tells her that she did a good job today, to which but that's because of his inability to show attention. Suddenly, Ares says whether demiurge feels tired, since she keeps feeding mana to the world tree all day long. The girl is surprised at such words, to which she agrees. She replies that it certainly makes her feel a little tired, but Ares may not worry about that, and the girl turns away to the tree. Ares asks to wait a moment and offers the demiurge some rest, to which he sits down on the ground and tells the girl to lie down. The demiurge doesn't understand what the demiurge says that then it will make her husband uncomfortable and that bothers her, but Ares yells that it doesn't bother him. He doesn't think it won't be a problem. He just wants to help demiurge just a little bit. Demiurge replies that if he feels that way, she will sleep on. The girl lies down on the guy's lap and thinks. Since the day she slept with him, she thinks she wants to pamper her husband. She wants to enjoy a happy and colorful honeymoon. However, it would be a very bad relationship where they only want each other. She promised herself to suppress her urges. Lying on the guy's lap, the demiurge thinks it feels good and she can't resist. A Titan comes to visit the couple. The demiurge wonders how it went and if she was able to collect enough anima crystals. The Titan replies that she wasn't very successful at it and shows the demiurge, the dragon god, and the hip. Ares and demiurge shout who these are, and that they did not expect the Titan to bring strangers with him. So, Ares doesn't understand what they are and why. She yells at her to let her go, asking who she is. The demon introduces herself, saying that it has been 2 years since she was first unable to feel the presence of mana. She has been searching for the demiurge. The girl realized the demon says it's been a long time, thousands of years since the demiurge gave her life, and now it's come back to her. Demiurge thinks that by her mana, she really is a dragon god. The demiurge is touched and says that she has indeed returned to her. The demon says it's been a long time. The hippo turns to the girl. The demiurge turns around and says that if she showed up with the dragon god, then she is Hippo. The demon confirms this. Happy that her mistress is fine, Demiurge apologizes to them. She asks the hippo to come closer to show her face. The girl hugs both of them. Titan, looking at this, says it's an emotional reunion. Suddenly, but he tells her not to bring any more unknown individuals to them mindlessly, for the world tree grows here. Also, here is the demiurge, Ares yells out, but Ares replies that all she has to do is understand and be careful next time. The Titan shrinks back, for she had hoped that Ares would get the best of her. Suddenly, Phoenix appears and is surprised by the arrival of the dragon god and the hippopotamus. The dragon god says she's glad the Phoenix is doing well, and the hippo greets her. Ares thinks that he somehow suspected this day would come a long time ago, but he never thought it would come so soon. Now in this forest is the demiurge and her most powerful demons that have ever existed. 4 of the most powerful demons have gathered together. Suddenly, the dragon god turns to Demiurge and wonders what kind of person. Hippo says that she's interested in that too. Ares says his name is Ares, and 2 years ago he was a hero and fought against the Demiurge. The dragon god replies that she had heard that there were those who had recklessly challenged her mom to a duel. Behemoth wonders. Hippo asks why that is. The Demiurge is about to answer, but she is interrupted by the dragon god. She says that Ares died in battle with her mother, and she shared her life with him, and now they both must nurture the. Hippo asks in other words if Demiurge mated with this male. The girl replies that she did. The dragon god revels in this. Ares wonders if she doesn't mind that they are together. The demon replies that it's not that she has any reason, however. If this is the man her mom chose, she doesn't have a single reason to be against it. Suddenly, the hippopotamus says she wonders if Ares really defeated the lady. The demiurge asks if the hippopotamus thinks she is not telling the truth. The hippo replies that perhaps the mistress is making him look good. Suddenly, the phoenix lunges at the hippo, asking if she really thinks her mother is lying. Hippo replies that she will not. A worthless weakling doesn't deserve to be part of from family, even if the mistress doesn't mind. She's against it. Phoenix yells that enough is enough. Hippo says she doesn't like it. She doesn't want to be around someone who isn't worthy to stand with her mistress. Ares replies that he understands. He says he'd be more than happy to take a duel with her. The demiurge is worried, but the boy calms her down, saying he can handle her. Everyone moves to the field. Found someone who isn't worthy to stand with her mistress. Ares replies that he understands. The demiurge stipulates the rules. No killing your opponent. If they try, witnesses will stop them. The demiurge gives the signal to begin. Hippo immediately attacks Ares with his foot, but she says she thought she would catch him off guard. The hippo praises Ares' reflexes. Suddenly, Hippo starts conjuring and attacks Ares again. The guy thinks she doesn't look like a phoenix, titan, or demiurge. Hippo says Ares better keep up with her, or he'll die. The guy realizes that Ares thinks that the phoenix, titan, and even the demiurge underestimated him from the beginning of the battle because he was human, and it was only because he saw a gap in the defense that he was able to win. The guy realizes that from the beginning. Suddenly, Hippo conjures up her beast power and she has huge claws. She attacks the guy, but he dodges again. Hippo slashes the rocks. Ares thinks that such power can't be compared to what came before. Behemoth is surprised, saying that Ares is the first creature to survive her blow. The demon asks the wind to give her a blessing. She says she recognizes that Ares is the strongest of her opponents and attacks him again and hurts him a little. Ares thinks that this blow was the hippo god notices this. The demiurge says they are exactly the same as when she fought him. The girl suggests that the hero may be using the skills of others, perhaps a former comrade. Ares utilizes Tuki's skills. The mind's eye somehow avoids being fatally injured. Behemoth attacks Ares, but he defends himself using Martina's power. Hippo dodges. Ares says he's not done yet and conjures a wave of ice. The magic doesn't work, and Ares conjures a water shot. She thinks the wizard must have some idea. Ares conjures a stone tomb, but the hippo dodges her again. The demon yells how much longer Ares will waste her time. She doesn't realize when she showed up. Ares replies that the hippo didn't remember the spell from a couple minutes ago, given the large number of spells. Hippo realizes what Ares has been trying to do all this time. She doesn't realize. Ares conjures a thunder barrier. Hippo falls to her knees. The guy comes closer to her and brings his fist in front of her face. Hippo says she has realized and accepts her defeat. Suddenly, the demiurge rushes to Ares, saying that he made her worry. She thought she was. Hippo apologizes to Ares. Phoenix yells that she should, but the dragon god herself could never do it. The demiurge replies that she had to do it to save her husband after his death. Ares says that they both share. Hippo says that Ares is then no longer fully human. The dragon god confirms this. The soul is the basis of life. If this soul is the same as their mother's, then Ares is no longer human. The demiurge frowns. Hippo says that Ares is. Demiurge explains that, of course, in a biological sense, she doesn't think he can call him human. Demiurge apologizes to Ares. He thinks it's even better conditions for the couple's wife, so she doesn't have to worry about it. Even on the dragon god says she watched their battle and doesn't know if she herself could have defeated him. Hippo says that to her, humans were only targets for killing. But this male is no longer human, and Suddenly, the hippopotamus hugs Ares, saying that it is unfair to appropriate a strong male and she is going to mate with him too. The demiurge goes into shock. The demiurge yells for her to wait. The dragon god is amused by this, and the titan doesn't understand what's even. Hippo thinks the best males should create a harem. The couple is shocked. The demiurge says they don't have to kill people right now. As long as they can nurture the world tree, Hippo hugs Ares harder and says that the instinct of all living things is to leave behind strong offspring. Demiurge says her husband will be uncomfortable. The hippo says that even males like to impregnate lots of females. It's a basic instinct of males. Demiurge yells to the hippo not to make her husband such an animal. The only person Ares can pour his love into is her. She will be the only one to give him children. The dragon god says the demiurge acts like a child, instinct of males. Hippo says that's not true, and she wants a baby too, and asks the others if they want one. Phoenix says she doesn't want one, and Titan says it doesn't really interest her, but she wonders if Ares could force her. The dragon god says that the hippopotamus must not touch her mom's stuff. However, there aren't many men worthy of being with them. She can understand why Hippo wants to. Demiurge yells at Hippo to let Ares go. She's not going to give her husband to her, but the hippo says she wants to mate with him and make lots of babies. The dragon god says he doesn't think they can hear her. Ares asks. The action shifts to night. The couple is lying in their bed. Ares is awake and pondering. Like the phoenix and the titan, the hippopotamus. Ares notices that the demiurge is awake as well. The girl murmurs, saying she would never give him to another girl. This makes the guy smile. The girl objects, asking. Ares replies that he feels a little better and apologizes. Demiurge is indignant, not understanding what the demiurge does not understand what he is talking about, for she has never avoided her husband. Ares replies that she didn't notice. Ares says that after the day they did it, they never, with the titan and everything, there was still no way he could get in the right mood with her. But even when everything was sorted out, he was afraid the girl hated him. Demiurge shouts that this is not true. There is no way she would hate her husband. Ares asks why Demiurge was avoiding him. She replies that she had no choice, or she would have wanted to see him all the time. She doesn't think she could stop herself. Since that first night they tied that knot, she doesn't know how many times she has wanted to hold. However, if that's what he thinks, that she's the one who only thinks about it, then she doesn't want her husband to hate her for it. Suddenly, Ares kisses Demiurge, saying that he wouldn't hate her even if she wanted him to. He asks how Demiurge thinks Demiurge feels about why he agreed to fight the hippopotamus so quickly today. Ares says he wanted the girl to know that he was the one for her. He wanted all 4 of the strongest demons to know that he was worthy of her. The Demiurge is shocked. To fight the hippopotamus, she says Ares started acting so cool. Ares wondered if he could allow an unsuitable person to be allowed near his creator. Hearing that, he was really hurt. Ares hugs the Demiurge and says that on their first night, he told her he would love her for real. Ares thinks he has fallen in love with her. The action moves to the next day. The Demiurge shows all the demons the seed, saying that she says that Demiurge and Ares were doing conjugal duty last night. Phoenix yells that's not what they came here to discuss. Demiurge says he wants the hippo and the dragon god to transfer their mana to the seed tonight. Saying that here is the. She says that Demiurge and Ares were doing. The dragon god replies that if that's what the mana asks, she doesn't mind. The hippopotamus also agrees. The Demiurge thanks both demons. The girl passes her mana to the seed, leaning. After defeating the golem, Miko decided to heal the girl's wounds. With light magic, healing mode, she praised one day this sprout will become a great tree that will keep the world going. Phoenix congratulates the Demiurge says that none of this would have been possible without her husband. And even with him, the Demiurge says that today is a good day to celebrate. Suddenly, there is another gust. A naked girl hatches from the egg. The Demiurge realizes who it is. It is Yggdrasil. Ares stands puzzled. The naked girl tells Demiurge, in a way, she's like a sister to her. Ares remembers that the Titans said something like that to him. Demiurge wants to introduce Ares to the girl, but she moves closer. Demiurge asks not to know her childishly. Yggdrasil says she has long been. Yggdrasil says that Demiurge looks many times better when she sticks. Ares thinks the Demiurge looks like she's been taken and switched. She said Yggdrasil is like a sister to her. She seems more at ease with her than with him. Yggdrasil conjures up some clothes for herself. The Demiurge says she's too relaxed, to which she replies. The spirit looks at the girls and asks if they are the 4 strongest demons. She says it's a pleasure to meet everyone but the Titan. Yggdrasil tells her not to be so formal and she can just call her Yuchan. Phoenix says that's disrespectful and she's not going to call her that. Spirit hugs Phoenix and says she's so uptight. The Demiurge asks the girl not to upset the Phoenix, to which she replies that she will soon get used to it. Suddenly, Yggdrasil turns to the dragon. Ares says she shouldn't call her that. But the dragon god replies that she's heard that she and her mom are like a sister to each other. An auntie would be the best way for her to address her. Yggdrasil replies that it sounds good and she likes it. Titan clucks and asks what's the point of just standing there like that. Yggdrasil turns to Titan. She must look at her reproachfully. But thanks to her, she has awakened a new self. The spirit thanks the Titan. The demon doesn't understand. Yggdrasil says she's fine with it. Ares asks the Titan what's going on, to which she replies that she was dancing to her tune. Yggdrasil explains that in an attempt to transfer the remaining mana from the last dying tree to the new one, she used Titan. Yggdrasil says she's fine with it. She adds that Ares helped her with this, but he probably didn't understand. Titan had previously damaged the world tree in an... After Titan was defeated by Ares, Yggdrasil replies that it's because she couldn't do that. Take mana from the world tree even if it dies. The demiurge is shocked. The spirit replies that she hopes she wasn't worried about that. She watched the two of... The demiurge says she didn't doubt his victory either. Yggdrasil slams the Titan and says it's the wisdom of her ancestors, even though it was her stupid... Yggdrasil replies that then, since her plan worked, the past will be the past. However, she doesn't think it's all right. Apparently, she should be punished a bit after all. Titan is tied to a tree upside down. The wisdom of her ancestors. Ares apologizes to her, saying that it was Yggdrasil who asked her to do this. The Titan Demiurge yells that the hippo and her husband are going hunting together. There is no telling what might happen, so she is going to go with them. Hippo hugs Ares and replies that he doesn't know what she is talking about. Do this. Suddenly, Yggdrasil says that the demiurge will have to help her. She pulls her away while she tells... Yggdrasil says that whether she wants to or not, she will be helping her today. She adds that Ares will be able to see something in... The action moves to a rocky plain. The dragon god wonders if the demons are hard to find. Suddenly, the hippo smells something wrong. The dragon god notices that she has an excellent sense of smell. Ares turns around and sees a flock of squeaking Garudas. She casts a spell, saying to make the birds a support for her mom and the world. The girl conjures a water shot, causing all the birds to fall. Ares is surprised that he was very lucky that the dragon god didn't want to fight him. Suddenly, the hippo joins the fight. The dragon god says that she is not surprised that the just defeated bird is showing her his bird after the attack. Ares is surprised that he was very lucky that the dragon... After the battle, Ares says that he never thought the squeaking Garudas would be a couple of trifles to them. The dragon god says she's honored that Ares speaks of them that way. Ares proceeds. He thinks it didn't take more than 10 minutes to kill them all. If ordinary adventurers saw this, they would definitely feel humiliated. Suddenly, the hippopotamus pulls... She says that she did a good job today. Ares replies that thanks to her, they have collected a lot of crystals, and also the meat of a squeaking Garuda, so they will have a feast. She lifts her clothes, exposing her breasts, and asks if Ares will mate with her right now. But the guy quickly runs away, saying he'll... Walking through the forest, Ares thinks a hippo almost pounced on him. However, good thing they were high-ranking demons. The quality of the anima crystals is good too. Ares wishes it would always be like... He thinks he needs to go on an expedition for high-ranking demons the last time a titan got in his way, but nothing will stop him now. Ares arrives in the forest and is greeted by the demiurge. She wonders what happened and where the others are. He replies that they will be here soon and notices that the girl looks tired. The demiurge replies that Yggdrasil had loaded her with work, but her fatigue faded as suddenly Yggdrasil says in the back to demiurge not to talk about people like that, like they are some kind of tyrants. She tells demiurge to go let off her floral scent. The girl she turns into a wordless child who does nothing but kiss. Yggdrasil says she's... Suddenly, the hippopotamus and the dragon god return. Yggdrasil suggests that they all go to the park. Ares asks the demiurge what it is, to which she explains that Yggdrasil made her build... Demiurge turns away and says that she is important to the world, like a god, and doesn't understand why she would be interested in something like building a house. Yggdrasil replies that Demiurge... She says it's weird that she's in love with a human, even though she herself has talked about destroying humanity. And now she has even shared power with this man. The Demiurge screams that there is nothing she can do, thinking that she too... Yggdrasil says she has been lonely all this time, and Yggdrasil says that their nightlife... Yggdrasil says that's why she called them in. If they were in there, Yggdrasil blackmails Titan, saying she'll do whatever she likes, to which she replies that she'll bring as much. The company goes inside and sits down near a table. Phoenix says that everything looks delicious, and the Titan remarks that they're having a party tonight. Ares looks at the whole picture with a smile. Ares thanks the girl for making this place for them. Yggdrasil says that Demiurge's jaw feels like it's dropped, but she replies that she's not bothered by her sister's teasing right now. The action moves forward. At the whole picture with a smile, Ares is bathing in the tub, saying he can't believe the Demiurge even did that. Suddenly, a naked Yggdrasil appears and says that she asked Demiurge to build it for them. Ares thanks her. He asks what she's doing here, to which she asks if she can join him, calling him half-brother and going to rub his back. Ares replies that he told her he would go first. Says that Yggdrasil replies that this is why she is here. If he will be here, so will she. Yggdrasil says that if he keeps whining about it, she'll start screaming and the Demiurge will simply explode. She wonders what will happen if a jealous Demiurge sees the two of them naked and Yggdrasil says she will rub every part of her body. She grabs Ares and takes him away, to which he asks her to at least give him pants. She brings the guy into the room and throws him on the bed, undressing. She says that he continues to be a catcher with other girls even when Demiurge starts crying and kisses Ares, saying that he is only her husband. The couple makes love. Actions carry over. A tired Ares sits in front of Yggdrasil. She apologizes to him, saying that she did something bad to him and Demiurge. She thanks Ares, saying that this is important to her and asks him to take more care of Demiurge. Suddenly, the Demiurge, after all, even Yggdrasil confirmed that he did not cheat on her last night. The Demiurge says the young man warned his friends that the monster in the clearing would appear in 2 minutes. Foxy thought it was better to apply this skill to the people who were around, but he disagreed and activated magic. Ares himself apologizes to her, saying he didn't even try. The Demiurge comes to a shock. Ares says they haven't had a chance to be together in peace. Phoenix asks why they aren't allowed. She says it's to make things work and shows the ring. Titan says these are relocation rings. They can use them to get back home quickly. But first, the Phoenix needs to set up a portal, some sort of travel point. Titan wonders why he's bothering with all this. Phoenix says there are only low-level monsters. They will be able to increase their area of operation by putting portals in different places. Ares confirms that this will make the world tree grow faster. The Demiurge says she understands, but with her powers, she can only move 4 people. They will be able to increase their area of Titan says 4 will be enough. The Demiurge says they will put up portals with just the 2 of them, but later. Yggdrasil says she has chosen as inconspicuous. The trio approaches the gates of the city, where they are accosted. The man says that it must be nice to be They came in very handy back then, and thanks to Cain, he didn't have to spend the night on the street. The man says there's a lot here, but Ares replies that the man says he has no problem taking them and adds for the company to be careful. This is one of the safest cities in the country, but there are still those who can't be controlled, and if Ares keeps the money in plain sight, he will be ripped off. That it can be counted as interest. The man says he has no problem though he already stands out when he walks around with so many girls. Ares says he'll be careful. The action moves back in time, a few weeks earlier in the land. Martine says her work is done, to which Tuca, standing behind her, replies that it's a lot of work. Martine replies that since the last couple of days she has been meeting with the representative, examining piles of papers every day, stamping stamps. She had no idea that the job. Martina doesn't know when she last held a sword in her hands. She is losing skills at an incredible rate. Tuca asks if Martina wants to train to fight after all these years. Tuca asks not to be called that and says she's not so easily hurt. The action carries over. The girls stand armed. Martine says it brings back memories. Suddenly, a bird with a letter flies past the girls. Tuca doesn't believe her, but Martina replies that there is still a possibility. Tuca doesn't believe Sophia could have mixed up the mana. Martina says that they definitely need to find Ares. The action moves back to the city of Sid. Yggdrasil says the portal is ready. The Demiurge wonders if this thing will stand out. Suddenly, Ares is approached by a group of bandits. The leader says that he has been following Ares, and he looks like he has a purse full of gold. One of the hoodlums tells the girls that they are three cuties and he is jealous of Aries. Aries remembers the guard's words and asks what they want. The leader replies that they are broke and have problems. The ringleader says all Aries needs is money and girls. He says they will give these girls a memorable night. The demiurge doesn't understand what these guys are talking about. Aries tells the girl not to worry about it. Have problems. Suddenly, Aries notices Yggdrasil enjoying the whole situation. The Titan is also getting pleasure from their stares, which also occupies Aries. The demiurge says, beginning to realize the whole situation, have problems with women. Suddenly, the ringleader asks what she's laughing about. The demiurge replies that they want to have sex with them. But they are not going to mate with inferior beings, for they are nothing more than stink. Aries asks the girl not to put on a show here, but Demiurge tells the guys to leave. The ringleader attacks Demiurge, but Aries fakes a blow to himself. Demiurge gets scared, leaning over her fallen husband. This will lead to the death of many soldiers, and Miko will be in the— Guy replies that this blow is no worse than a mosquito bite. He adds that there will be no date if Demiurge puts on such a show in public. The ringleader says that Demiurge talked to him in a disgusting way, and in that case, he will rape her until she breaks. The ringleader shouts to his boys to kill Aries. One of the guys insults the demiurge, for which Aries grabs him and lifts him up by the— Aries turns his head and glares at the other guys, which makes them go on the run. Titan says they're pathetic, but she thought they'd have fun with her tonight. The action carries forward. For Demiurge reads the menu and realizes that this food is made by humans. When they were in the forest, they mostly ate sacred apples. She assumes they were tasteless to her husband because he was previously human. Forward. Suddenly, the waitress says that the demiurge is reading this with great enthusiasm. The girl replies that she wanted to treat her husband to a delicious meal. The woman says that Demiurge is so lovely for such a young lady. She calls Aries a lucky man for having such— The demiurge apologizes, but the woman says that in such cases, they call him a cretin and a walking piece of trash. He abandoned his mission to save the world and ran— Her husband sacrificed his life for these fools. Suddenly, Sophia enters the conversation, saying that Aries is not a bad man. Martina and Tuca suddenly appear. The Hippo is not happy that Aries and the demiurge have not returned yet. The dragon— She assumes that this must be what they are doing right now, or rather, they are even taking turns doing it. Suddenly, the hippo gets up and leaves. Phoenix asks where she is going, to which she tearfully replies that she is also going to mate. The action shifts back to the city of Sid. Sophia doesn't understand why. All people learn that these three girls were together with Aries. The girls burn all the books about Aries, not realizing that he could have— She says they tried to ignore how he really felt. They left him, and he was the one who saved the world, single-handedly playing the role of the hated hero. Martina calls him and all of them stupid. Afraid of her? Besides, Tuca says that's why they have to figure it out on their own. Demiurge tells Aries everything. Ares replies that he is going to help the world tree to grow faster and save the world from destruction and live happily ever after. The demiurge replies that those people whose husband sacrificed his life to save them, they are not at all grateful to him. Moreover, some of them can— Ares replies that she is right. There are some people in this world who are so stupid that nothing can be— It's all just a consequence of what they've accomplished fighting for their lives, which is why they're here. The demiurge replies that everything is fine. Suddenly, Yggdrasil says she is late. The Titan follows her, carrying a lot of things. The girl says, Ares wonders how the Titan feels. He can move things into his magic backpack. But the Titan refuses, saying it's even wonderful to think of it as a game. Is late. The Titan Yggdrasil tells everyone to go home and opens a portal. The company moves toward the house. Ares also says he loves her. He found her in her secret place. Is late. The Titan Yggdrasil tells everyone to go. The girl looked at him and was surprised that he had managed to find her. Menno said he knew her very well. She thought he had come to Guy, on the other hand, didn't hesitate to say he was taking her away for defense training. But Mikarin was too upset and resentful of her mother, who said she would only get in the way in battle. Mikarin informed the boy that she had always studied and trained hard in order to become stronger and protect her mother and the others. That she thought that was how the queen would recognize her. But it wasn't to be. Glad to meet them. All this information Menos knew, so he wanted to let it pass and wanted to go back to the castle, and the girl wanted him to at least try to calm her down. Menos tried, and Menos realized that he made a mistake with the phrase, because in the game, Alex said a very correct phrase, after which they returned to the castle. As the Dragon King's invasion of Fairyland began at this time, he flew right over Minos and Mikarin. The flying monster roared that he was the Dragon King Nidhegg, and he was and is. But Mikarin, looking at the dragon, was confident that her mom could handle it as she was very strong and the barrier wouldn't let it through. Thus, the barrier would not be able to stop the Dragon King from striking him with his tail, teeth, and other parts of his body. The dragon's next move was a fiery breath, under which the barrier failed, so soon it collapsed. Thereupon, the Dragon King gave orders to his kin, that is, the serpents, to attack and conquer these lands. But they had special privileges at the academy because they had a lot of money. Mikarin fell to her knees and stared wide-eyed at everything that was happening. These events were like the end of the world. But Soji reassured her and said he would help her with everything. Menos, looking at this, realized that the hero who was supposed to stop the dragon was not here, and at this rate, the world would definitely end. So the guy took the girl by the hand and led her forward, saying that they would now go to the battlefield and would surely fight and defeat the dragon. And then her mother, but Mikarin didn't want to go as she is really weak. And she was always weaker than him. Yes, she enjoyed being called strong, but not today. The more knowledge she had, the more money she would get. She realized that she had no chance for today, so she would not fight. Menos asked her if she was okay with it, watching everything she cared about perish. The girl could not look at it calmly. But despite this and other arguments and entreaties from Menos, Mikarin did not want to go to fight, as she believes that her mother is right, and she will only be a hindrance on the battlefield. And the girl was crying bitterly, for she was afraid that her mother might die because of her weakness. So she asked the boy to go by himself in a tent, because they would spend the night there to get to the 3rd floor. Mikarin stood her ground. She wasn't going to go with Menos because she didn't want to get in the way, but that didn't impress the guy. They had to do that if they wanted to increase their rank. Menos didn't deny that Mikarin was weak. He sometimes even found it funny when the town called her strong, but it wasn't up to her to decide if she was going to get in the way or not. For example, they needed to take more food and water with them, but how to carry it all the girl didn't understand. Soji explained to them that since he had purification magic, he was going to purify the water and food that was in the dungeon. Holding her hand, the boy said he needed her. The guy said that monster meat is very tasty when cleaned. Besides, from the monster's blood, he could extract water and purify with magic. At this, the girl began to resent it, and Menos said he had taken her in his arms as a princess, and generally, from this moment, let her and then he added that she needed to be an obedient girl and not twitch, at which point she stopped crying. That's when they went into battle, because everyone's strength and mana depended on good nutrition, and so they made it to the castle just as the fire blazed, but Menos told Mikarin not to worry. Menos had no need to use eloquence, for Glacia understood him at once and assumed her true form, at which time they saw Primo on the Demon Queen reported back that she kept. Meanwhile, the elves led, but this had no effect on the Dragon King. He called them all weak and began to use his magic and attack, under the onslaught of which the defense of the elves began to crack at the seams. It shattered the elves' defenses completely, many of them already lying unconscious. The queen herself. At that moment, Mikarin ran up to the queen. She hugged her mom, who was hurt, but kept talking about how she asked her not. Only now, Mysteria realized that Menos was right. She was the. At this point, the dragon gloated, noting the touching nature of the moment. But honestly, he didn't care. He kept amusing himself and saying, "Let despair fall upon their heads," for they knew not what to do and trembled with fear of him. Menos realized that none of the elves would be able to survive from the Doomsday Flame, as level 100 was required to survive. But the dragon didn't take something into account, namely Menos, who stepped in front and prevented him from using the flames, summoning a slime that filled the dragon's entire maw to attack with the Doomsday Flame. Menos, on the other hand, looked the Dragon King in the eyes with. To this, Menos replied that he was the former last boss, but the bandits were injured. Sodzi, on the other hand, rejoiced, for he had warned them, but no one listened to him. And this spell was so strong that its power could not always be controlled. The Dragon King was getting fed up with this, so he informed them that resistance was futile, and he would now burn down the world tree and put an end to humanity. Burn off a large half of the body dot, they would not recover. After these words, he spat fire at the world tree, and the Elf Queen remarked that he had at the same moment, Mysteria coughed up blood, startling Mikorin. But the mother spoke to her daughter about how it would be better if— But Mikorin replied that she had come home to protect her, and the queen realized at that moment that her daughter was too much like her. And the queen admitted that she also wanted to protect her little girl, who was so fragile. She apologized to Mikorin, admitting that she had been a bad mom. Mikorin realized that her mother was going to die so soon, and to which Menos said he didn't want to do that. There was a silent pause, after which the guy said that After these words, he unzipped a secret pocket and took out some kind of bottle. After that, the Elf Queen was as good as new. Her skin even began to glow. And Menos thought that this medicine had more This partially changed the ending for the better, as Mysteria is alive, as are the other elves. But the queen was aware that she would not have the strength to— She said that not years of training, nor wasted effort, nor humans could defeat a dragon. Menos agreed with that. Showed him the fireball spell, and she wanted to learn it. After all, he said from the beginning that she and the other elves will not win, they will only get in the way, but no one listened to him. For Menos, this situation and the whole world was like a game. So a stalemate, a strong opponent, and the end of the world sounded very interesting. Neither Mikorin nor Mysteria understood him, and he was going to have a good time, since the main character was not on the stage and he had free reign. Just then, Menos, on the other hand, had anticipated such a development, so he turned to Primo to signal it. The girl quickly summoned a mini Primo and through it relayed a message to Euphil, who began exterminating the snakes. Tree roots sprouted from the ground and set the snakes on themselves like meat on a— Menos came up with all of this based on his knowledge. Euphil scattered the parasite tree seeds. When the reptiles were finished, the last stage left was the boss battle, which Menos marched in and called Mikorin to come with him. Mikorin got up and was about to go with Menos, but Mysteria tried to stop her, saying that if she went there, she would die. But then hugged her tightly and apologized for her words when she insulted her by calling her an idiot. Wouldn't be taken as a wife, but she laughed as she was considered the most enviable bride in her homeland. Mikorin recognized that she was weak, but nevertheless there were things that only she could do. So she is going to go and fight. She said she loved her mom and turned and ran to Menos, who was waiting for her. The queen wanted to call out to her, but stopped and looked after her daughter, who was rapidly moving away from. After that, the guy praised her for her good words, and Miko replied that he was the one who said he needed her power, and in general, he was the one who kidnapped her. So in case of anything, he should take responsibility. They high-fived each other and made a promise. And Mikorin wondered if she would be able to see those flowers from her distance. Then her mother told her that Miko could see the beautiful flowers if the world— She was determined as a child to slay the evil dragon, to see the beautiful flowers, to have peace, and beautiful flowers bloomed all over the world. This was the elf princess's goal, her dream. So now, at this time, Menos was telling his plan to Primo that Glacia and Mikorin would take their positions, and Primo was surprised that she wouldn't have to destroy anything. Primo sat down in a deep curtsy and wished her lord a success. And Menos, every time he saw someone destroying what people protect so much, how lives were ruined, he immediately thought back to his childhood. Years ago, as he stood in a pool of blood of the innocent girl he was protecting, he became a demon lord. But his budget was short, so the man turned away and started looking for something. That day he made a promise to himself that he would never again allow what was right. So now he was about to do the same thing. So he applied the seal-breaking skill and released all his skills. Out of the darkness, out of the shadows, hundreds of demons and different creatures began to crawl out, and Menos realized that he was not to be the hero of this fascinating story. He realized that even if he became good, he would never be able to become violence, malice, arrogance, greed. This wretched dragon was inferior to Menos in each of these vices. He made a lot of money off the kid a few weeks ago. At this moment, Menos's transformation began. Yes, he was not a hero and defender of justice, but he was the final boss of this world. For some reason, he took his true form. It was no longer human, but to the end a demon. But even in this guise, he was beautiful. The Dragon King saw that everything was going according to plan up to a certain point. But then something went. The moment he flew towards the World Tree, he saw that trees had sprouted through the body. He realized that it all happened in an instant. But the people of this world don't have that kind of strength. No strength to resist the snakes and him. Out of anger, the Dragon King didn't wait any longer and used flame breath. But suddenly, he saw a human where there shouldn't have been one. See for this battle. But the Dragon King did not pay attention to this, because the man was under his direct. At that moment, Menos, in the guise of a demon, launched. The Dragon King, after such an attack, was still surprised to see his flames disappear. But there was no water to wash it away, nor any wind to blow it away. Understand how to survive in such a place. And what happened was the following. All the flames the dragon had used were extinguished by nothing other than a chilling chill. This cold and ice not only got to the plants and flames, but also to the dragon as its wings began to freeze little by. Toward the dragon, something or someone began to approach, and he looked fearful, but took note that the dragon had indeed. Especially this contrast in height could be seen. Looking at the demon emperor, albeit a former one, the dragon realized that he had forgotten how to breathe. And time seemed. At the same moment, the guy decided to tell the Dragon King why he had no chance of winning this battle. It was very simple. The dragon wasn't supposed to let him near him, but run from him. But the Dragon King had no intention of doing that yet, though he felt a lot of pressure. For he was certain that the man could not defeat him, and on that note, he rushed to the attack. The girl confessed that she had heard that there was a magic sword similar to this one, and that blade was created by God himself. Soji hadn't expected such a turn of events. He had a sword where his arm had turned into a paw, which he decided. With one precise blow, Menom sliced off the Dragon King's hand-paw hand and it flew to an unknown destination. The dragon howled with pain and resentment. He did not understand where the guy got the sword, and the blow itself. The Dragon King clenched his teeth in pain. Blood was gushing from his wound. He missed this blow as it was too fast. And in general, he couldn't understand how the guy was able to penetrate the. So the former emperor decided to play with the Dragon King. He offered him the following conditions. If he can at least scratch him. The dragon thought the guy was messing with him, so he decided to divert his attention and then strike him with his tail. But she didn't want to give up. But Menos would not be fooled by this. He activated his 10th level. The Dragon King was confused as he couldn't understand how the guy had managed to counterattack him. He had thought it through after all. Since the Dragon King couldn't attack the guy up close, he decided to fly a decent distance away from him and try to sizzle the guy up. As he couldn't understand how the guy had managed to. But the Dragon King's quick use of his trump card didn't scare Menos, but introduced a state of boredom. So he used a 10th level bow skill. Safest to camp. And the spell he activated was Crescent Moon. The arrow pierced the Dragon King's mouth with amazing accuracy. Hit him with her flaming spear. The dragon started coughing up blood and the doomsday flames disappeared, and the reptilian began to. At this point, Menos informed the dragon that this was the final moment of the warm-up and asked him to entertain him. The dragon considered Menos's words of amusement as The dragon realized that calling the guy strong wasn't enough. His magic level was prohibitive, and there was nothing the reptilian couldn't understand who Menos was, and he was really Menos stared predatorily at the guy continued, saying that the dragon still. Seizing the moment, the dragon began to persuade Menos to become allies and rule this world together, but that was not what Menos wanted. The boy jabbed his finger at the Dragon King and said that he was nothing more than. It turned out that in front of him was not a man but the embodiment. But Nidhegg was wrong in another of his assumptions. Having made his speech, Menos realized something unthinkable began to happen on the battlefield, but he miscalculated a bit, and the monster pushed him with all his might. It was Menos's unique magic. He was going to use one, and the Demon Emperor called it Apocalypse Nova. The Dragon King was trapped and could not be saved. The dragon was in agony from Menos's attack. Mysteria, Queen of the Elves. At this point, Primo and Eufel were in the forest. They expected nothing less from their lord. But Eufel still thought that it would be better for him and Primo to do all the dirty work, and for their master to keep. His level rose to 61, and what was expected level increase slowed down. Troops have begun to move quickly using the transitional. Taisha says he's going to Crossroads. According to Warden's address in that town, the girl asked me to wait. The innkeeper. At times like this, he'll keep going. But if things get bad, let him run away and be careful. Taishi declared that he was going. Warts stated that they said they were about to arrive. Ethan yelled that he was pulling them so he couldn't see anything at all. Taishi saved his life and noted that they had not seen each other for a long. Ethan noted how good he looked. Warts wondered who it was I had not seen for a long time. They can't understand where so many of them are coming from. Taishi stated that they have held out well, and now I've been a long time, not everyone has experienced this feeling, realized he appeared. Taishi was scanned. A sample of magic power 43 times the amount of magic. A sense of danger rattled around Taishi for telling me to get out of here. He pulled the orb away and everything happened in an instant. Scanning. Destruction of magic pattern 3. Well, everything was bad and he doesn't know if he can. Orders have been received from headquarters. Taishi asked the captain to allow him to demote the event. The explosion between the unexpected speed and the strange sensation of the moment contained. Could this be the end of the game? Suddenly he saw Marie. He told her to wait for him, and this is not the end. There was absolutely no sound from his movements. Moreover, when he swiped his paws on the ground, his lips were not raised, and that was the reason. Even if the advances are silent, that doesn't mean his tracks disappear. Taishi called out in response who he even was. He said that the destruction of magic pattern 300 and Taishi asked him what HQ means, and those who want to destroy the balance. It sounded about stopping the transmission and the battle log. And so for every country, those who theater would destroy the balance? He didn't understand who they were, what their purpose was. Ethan inquired if he was okay. He was so reckless. Taishi claimed he was at fault. These men looked like corpses and had clearly been starving for a long time, and their equipment said so. But Soji didn't want to share his loot with them for nothing. The ringleader put a sword to the protagonist's throat, saying that he was willing to kill for food. But Soji didn't worry about it and continued to bargain. But the man didn't understand what the man wanted from him. As it was, the guy decided to help these people and asked Kuna to bring meat from the tent and started to cook something. They were steaks, and Soji gave them to the ringleader to sample, saying it was meat with purification magic. The adventurers happily and greedily ate the steaks and even fought over them, and Soji said he was cooking more. The guy explained that such food without the purification magic put on it would be poison to their bodies. But the people were so hungry they didn't care. One of them took a bite and said it was the tastiest thing he had ever eaten. And then he fell to the ground, for he was twisted by intense pain. In this way, he sold a lot of food and made a lot of money from the hungry adventurers. More teams came to the clearing at the sounds. They were willing to pay money just to eat good food and drink water. Business was boiling. There was a lot of customers, just enough time to fry meat. The queue was huge and everyone was waiting for their portion of meat. Anne suddenly offered to double the price, since the queue wasn't getting smaller. There were many among the adventurers who paid with magic stones, and the lad realized that in these 4 days they would raise the necessary amount to pay for the tent. Meanwhile, the girls went for a swim, and Kuna warned him that if he peeked, she would fry him. Anne didn't mind Soji looking at her, but Kuna said that only her husband could show her body. Soji was happy that he could make them so comfortable. After the girls were done, they called the guy in for a bath. But instead, he decided it was time to raise the level with rocks, and the girls were determined. Determination is determination, except that Kuna was floating again from the action of the stones. But Soji didn't stop and fed Kuna another rock. After that, the girl could not stand it and fell unconsciously on the bed. But she looked very erotic, so they used almost all the magic stones they had. The only one left was from the boar, but Sodzi's magic wasn't enough to clear it. Anne, on the other hand, stayed awake and started a conversation with her boyfriend. She saw the difference between hers and his moon section, and didn't understand why this was happening. He realized that it would be difficult to explain everything in words, so he decided to show everything in practice and do the training right now. So they walked out into the clearing and stood opposite each other. Soji decided to point out her problem, and to do so, he asked her to swing her sword as hard as possible, which Anne did several times. Her body had memorized the correct movements through countless training and repetition, for this was how swordsmanship was taught in her family. Plus, she was eager to learn and repeat his moves, and that was her biggest mistake. For as long as she imitates her family's style or his, she will never find her own and become stronger.